Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss about parameter and function. So we will be talking about what is a parameter, the use of exit statement in every functions, what is parameter by value and what is parameter by reference. Before we proceed, I would like to tell you that this is my GitHub page and here I'll be uploading all the programs which I'm explaining in the video, so you can use it for your reference and please start this page. And next one is, this is my blog. Here I will be uploading all the instructions detail in a detailed manner, so you can, if you click on any one blog and if you really feel that blog is very helpful to you, so you can just follow my blog by clicking here. And this is my YouTube channel, so you can see here that I'll be uploading all the videos here in a proper you can see all the videos here. And if you really like this video, that particular video, any video which really helped you a lot to learn something, and if you want to thank me, if you want to show your support, so you can click here, thanks. So what is a parameter? If you wanted to pass any information to a function, you can create a parameter. So, parameter is the most important and useful one in any functions. Okay, so here if you see any function, so I'm just typing this message, you can see there is a string colon text and then some brackets. So this is what the parameter. For example, if I use message, I wanted to display something to the viewer, to the user. So whatever I'm just passing here, this we usually call it as a parameter. Okay, you can see here that this is a parameter inside the function. You can see this is a parameter. Okay, this is used to pass any value to the function. Okay, if you wanted to pass any information to the function, then you can definitely make use of the parameter. So what are the things which you can, which is possible or which are included in the parameters are values, references or expressions which you wanted to send to the function. Information is provided to the function. We can provide an information to the function. Even we can change the information in the function. So whenever we are calling a function from within our code, Visual Studio Code helps us to, by providing the information about the parameters to the function required. So you can type anything low. So I'm just typing uppercase. So you can see that for uppercase, this parameter is mandatory. That is, you have to definitely pass a string in order to convert that into the uppercase. Okay, so we'll be talking about uppercase in the future videos because these are all inbuilt functions. So we will learn about it. But as of now, you should know what is this parameters and everything. So this is whatever is mentioned inside the brackets, that is a parameter. So in the previous video, we have kept on creating a procedure without passing any parameter. So if you wanted to create a parameter, you have to type something here. Okay, so that is what we'll be creating the parameters. Okay, so if you wanted to define a parameter, we have to define it here. So if you wanted to pass two parameter, then you can define here that parameter 1, and along with that you have to tell what is that particular parameter data type. Okay, what type of data you just wanted to pass it. So if you wanted to pass the integer, you can use integer, and if you wanted to pass text, so it should be a text. Okay, so you can just simply tell what type of parameter you are just going to do. So and here you cannot separate with a comma. Okay, so this is in such case, you mean that you are creating a procedure with single parameter. Okay, if you want two parameters, then you can simply use a semicolon to start a second parameter, and I'm just going to create a second parameter with the text. Probably it is 20. Okay, which means that for this particular procedure, if I'm calling this procedure, I have to pass two parameters to it. Okay, I have to pass two variables to call that. Okay, so in simple terms, if you use something generally, this we call it as a variable, and if you declare a variable inside the procedure brackets, that we will call it as a parameter. Fine, so this is how you can create any parameter. So let us talk about exit statement, which is very very important for all the functions. So whenever you create a function, And if the function has finished, is it's running, okay, like the code is completed and it is finishing something. And if you want your function to return something to back to the particular code, for example, here I can use this procedure, okay, my procedure. And you can see that if I just keep the procedure, you can see the two parameter is popping up here, which is a mandatory parameter, okay. And if I wanted to pass any value back to this particular procedure, then I can go with the exit statement. Don't worry, I'll just show you with a simple example so that you can easily understand it, okay. So this is what exit statement. So now let us understand. I hope you understand what is a parameter and what is a function. Okay, let us understand. So let us understand the types of parameter, okay, because we have two types of parameter to pass it, okay. We can use a parameter, we can pass a parameter using a value, and also we can use a parameter using a reference, okay. So this is what a procedure definition or procedure declaration you can do like this. So here we are declaring using the parameter, but anyhow, if you wanted to call this procedure, we have to use these two parameters. That is, we have to either call using some variable or something else like that. So that is what passing parameters by value or passing parameters by reference. So we have two things, okay, parameter by value, parameter by reference. So let us understand first one, what is parameter by value. When you pass a parameter by value, you are passing the value of a variable to a function. For example, if you have defined a variable, okay, that is employee ID, and you are keeping it as 2022, okay. So what you are passing, it was, you are just exactly passing the value 2022 back to the parameter, sorry, procedure. So let us just understand it with a simple example, okay. So here I'm just going to create a procedure with a single parameter, okay, with an integer. Let us have this, okay, and I'm just passing it as integer, okay. And this is what this will be like, this complete output of this will be an integer. So that is what I'm just mentioning it here, okay. And I am going to create by beginning using a begin and end statement here. So you can just call it here as parameter 1 colon equal to 20, okay. And I am using exit parameter 1, okay. I'll tell you what is parameter 1 and why I have used it here, exit everything, okay. So in the action, I'm going to create a new action called pass by value, okay, pass by value. And here inside the trigger, on action, I'm going to create a variable, two integers, okay. So where mm, this is what we call it as a local variables, okay. So where mm integer 1 colon integer, okay. So let us just create it here, let us have it here in the var itself, okay. Where integer 1 is integer, and okay, let me create it separate variable, okay. So this is a global variable, and result is also an integer, okay. And in the begin, here in the begin, what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to create integer 1, I'm going to assign the value to 23, okay. Integer 1, I'm just assigning the value to 23 here, and result colon equal to, and I'm passing the value to the parameter, okay. So my procedure, and inside that I have to pass the value integer 1 here, okay. And in the message, I'm just going to print integer integer 1 percentage 1. In order to display that particular value, I'm just using that percentage 1 here. This will display what it will show. It will display 23. Okay, whereas if I have passed it, right, message, um my so the same thing which I'm going to just use it. Okay, and the result, this will actually display 20. Okay, so here is an end. So what is happening here, see, I have created two variable, one is integer 1 and the result. Okay, and in my if I execute this, if I click this particular action, okay, pass by value, so what happens, this integer 1, initially it will initialize the value 23. And what I'm doing in the result, I'm calling the procedure called my procedure, and I am passing this int 1 to this particular function. Okay, so what happens, once it enters this particular variable here, this int 1, now int 1 will be 20, int 1 will be changed to 20, sorry, in the result 1, result will be changed to 20. Okay, and it will send this particular value, that is this particular that is initialization value, back to this particular code. That is why I have used this exit. If you have already used any other programming language called C++ or Java, you might have faced a method called return statement, return function. So this is what the exact use of exit. Okay, so what is happening, I don't want it to stop the value here itself. Okay, if you just do like this, what it will not return this data back to this particular code. So what is happening here, I am returning back this parameter 1 to the code because this parameter 1 is holding this 20, and this 20 will be sent back to this particular function, and this that will be stored in the result. Okay, so now what will happen, integer 1 will display the value 23, whereas result 1, initially it will it will call this function, and the value 20 will be stored in this result. Okay, so let us execute this code and see how it is working. I'm just printing control and F5 to see how it works. This is what pass by value. Okay, so here this parameter, okay, here I have made it as an integer. So what it will do is, what it will accept the integer type of value to this particular procedure. Okay, so and what happens, what it will change the value and return the value of this parameter back to the particular code. So that is what happening here. Okay, so if I click on this action, you can see pass by value. So the first message will be 23. Okay, because initially I have declared 23 here. And if you click OK, then it has changed its value to 20. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you something here. See, since my procedure is having one parameter, okay, and I definitely, whatever the parameter I have created here, that much value you have to pass it from here. Okay, for example, if I'm not passing any value here, see, it will show me an error. So if you just keep your mouse there, it will tell you there is no argument given that corresponds to the required formal parameter. So you are passing something, right? So this is what we call it as an argument. Okay, argument you are passing, and whatever is there when we initialize the procedure, that we will call it as a parameter. Okay, if for example, if you have created another parameter with the integer type, I'm sorry, you should not use a comma, you have to use a semicolon and integer. So in this case, you have to pass two parameter here, right? So it is showing that you have two parameter, but you have only passed one value. So if we use, in this case you have to use what, integer 2, and you can just pass that parameter 2 here. Okay, and then you can just, okay, you can just make it comma int 2, and thus that int 2 should be, um, okay. So that is what you should be very clear about, what we are trying to do it here. When you have one parameter declared in your when you create a function and you are passing one parameter, then that parameter should be compulsorily called through the argument. Okay, so make sure you are doing all these things. So let us go to the next concept called pass parameter by reference. Okay, so what about this is, what this is, pass parameter by value is what the default one which we usually do it. Okay, so then what is the parameter by reference? I hope you all know that whenever you create a variable, okay, where, and you are creating something called employee id colon equal to 2022. So what happens, this employee id, this will hold a separate memory in your computer. Okay, so 2022, this value will be stored in employee id, where for this value there will be a reference number will be there for this value. For example, it might be 162022. Okay, we are not sure because this is a computer memory which by default it will be allocated for every variable. So here we have declared two variables, right? That is integer 1 and result. So a computer will allocate these two variable in a different, that is a different two variables, and the data will be stored there. Okay, that is what it usually happens. So in the regular method, what we did is what, we have passed the value. Usually we will pass the value, but in parameter, so in reference, if you wanted to pass any reference, we can call this particular memory located, where the memory, that is what, where the particular computer memory is holding the employee id. Okay, so variable always allocate a certain part of a computer memory, and if you pass a parameter by reference, you are not passing the value to a function, but rather to the reference. You are passing the function, you are passing a reference to the function. Okay, so which is its position in the memory. You are just passing its position back to the function. So by using this method, why we should use this method? Because if you wanted to work directly with the memory, then you can use this method. So as a result, what happens, changing the value has an impact in your calling function. So whenever you change the value, it also has an impact to your calling function. Okay, so if you decided, in any case, if you wanted to pass any value, that is pass by reference, if you wanted to pass a reference back to the function, then you have to use this particular keyword called var. Okay, I'll show you how we will be doing that. You have to use this var before that particular parameter. Okay, so we'll just do it. I'm just going to copy this entire action, because the same thing I'm just going to show you so that you will have better understanding. So pass by reference. Okay, and what I'm going to do is what, and I'm going to create another procedure here. You can create a number of procedure, my procedure 1, and if you wanted to make it as a pass by reference, then you have to use a var keyword before the parameter. Okay, so if you use a var, then what it will do is you are passing the reference back. So here I'm just going to make it 1. So anyhow, other concepts are same, because we are just going to use the same to see how it works. Okay, so now I'm just going to pass, see what is the result here. Let us save it. Okay, this will not display display this. Let us see what is happening. It will show you, see, integer 1 is what, 20. Okay, and the same reference is passed back to the value, so again it is showing integer 120. The two values will be integer 120. So what is happening, we are not passing the value. Okay, here when I trying to call here, call from here, I'm not passing the value, whereas I am passing the reference of this integer. Okay, so it is displaying you the exact value of the integer itself, but it is not, that is, it is displaying you the value of the parameter itself, but it is not changing any value, it is not showing the value, it is showing the reference location, reference of that particular keyword. This is what passed by reference. And okay, let us discuss about the complex data types. I will just tell you what is complex data types in the next video, and also along with that I will tell you how to use the complex data type, that is how to return the complex types in functions, that is a custom functions. I hope you all understand. I'll be uploading this code in the GitHub, so you can refer it, and also I'll be writing a blog for the same, so you can also check that. If you have any queries, please leave the query. Thank you, take care, bye bye.